welcome back to the channel. It's Sunday. Flying a drone back around the stadium, get some close-up shots of the Stones. We've just come off the 4-0 win against Leicester yesterday. Unbelievable. I really thought Leicester were going to be more trouble than Spurs and Brighton were, but they were poor. They were really poor, and if anything, we should have been about 4-0 up at half-time. I think this team can go on and climb the league now. I mean, Moyes was talking about in their post-match press conference, we're looking up now rather than down. We've got, obviously, next league game is against Liverpool. It's a week Tuesday, I think. A draw, I'd happily take a draw now, but anything can happen in a derby. If we manage to beat them, we jump up about 2 or 3 places. So it's very, very tight there, and could we be looking at like a mid-table finish? Something Sean Dyche we'd never be imagining. We'd be lucky to finish outside the bottom 3. So yeah, it's looking good. Beto good yesterday. So anyway, let's get the drone up and let's have a look around. Drone's up in the air. We'll have a look at what's going on. Crane has just started to come down in the corner. It was still up when I first got here. They've started taking that down now. They brought a load of new scaffolding yesterday. Seen it on SS Sky's video. So there's a lot more up here now, some more joining parts. So we're expecting a hell of a lot more to go up along the stand. You know, I was told in the comments that basically this was going to go up another couple of levels along here. So you can see with bringing the more scaffolding, it's obviously what's going to happen. I was hoping to get a nice low shot of this corner, but obviously with the crane being there, can't do that today. You see that's going down now. Kind of I was thinking if they're doing that corner, then obviously the southeast corner as well. I would imagine this corner will be getting the same kind of treatment done, whatever's being done in those corners. But it's going to be a hell of a lot more complicated to put the scaffolding up around here. You look at all what's in there. So yeah, it's going to be a lot more complicated. Someone was suggesting on the comments the other day, it's a shame that they didn't put fountains or water jets along here, which I do think would look quite nice. But somebody did respond and say the wind down here would be too much. Now, obviously, I come down here quite a lot. We do get windy days down here, but there's also, you know, like this morning, it's fairly calm this morning. Still not anything going on along here. As I say, expect within the next few weeks to start seeing flags go up, a bit of branding for the stadium, you know, with the test events coming up. Let's have a look inside the stadium. Now, as I mentioned on my previous video, I've got into one of the test events and I'm hoping to live stream from inside the stadium in the corridors, obviously depending on what signal's like. But what would be quite cool, you know, because obviously not everyone can make the test events. I was thinking, you know, you'll have access, depending on how much of the stadium is open, there'll be access to the entrances to the stands in certain points, and then obviously people request that I'll go out certain entrances if available and have a look at some of the seats and the views and film it. So, you know, rather than having a virtual view, we can see exactly what it looks like within the actual stadium itself. Now, so make sure you subscribe, because if I am live streaming from inside the stadium, you will get notified that it's happening. So if you're not subscribed, you might be able to access it afterwards, but you'll get notified as it's happening, so you'll be able to see it as it's going along. So we've got the lamps are on, concentrating on the south end of the pitch. As I say, in my previous video I did post a screenshot of the pitch kind of at ground level, and you can see it looks much different at ground level and thicker than it does up here. Zoom out, see all nice motorbike going past, see all the lights are on. I'm going to have a look at the posh seats. As I mentioned on a previous video, they're not called the posh seats, there is a name to them, but I keep messing it up, so I'm just referring to them from now on as the posh seats. It does look like there's a few installed along here. They've got them covered up, so I think, you know, if we come over daytime through the week, I'm probably going to be back here on Tuesday. We'll probably start seeing them uncovered and see what they actually look like fully fitted in. That'll look quite cool. So let's have a look over the south stand. Now I'm going to walk along the front in a second so I can lower down the drone and see where it's at, while I zoom down on the stones itself, because obviously as a responsible drone flyer you've got to keep the drone in sight at all times. Let's come back a bit from the stadium. Somebody mentioned on one of the comments, Shane, about the grids, but a few people have commented that once the stones are in, you won't notice where these grid areas are, so they won't be an issue. I did think on one of my videos that one of the grids wasn't square, but it does appear to be square, and you know, there will be no issues with stones having to be caught and things like that. Zoom back out, show you how far I am away from the stadium, and I actually can see the drone. So I'm going to lower down, get quite close in, and then I'll change my zoom on the camera. And get as good a zoom as possible. So I'm over the water. Just a little bit closer. So I am still over the wall height, so I still can see the drone. I'll zoom right in, see if we can see any. Zoom back out a little bit, just get a little bit closer in. Yeah, the stones are still a bit too dirty to be able to read anything. They got a fair few in. That I don't know when they start the lettering of Everton within these stones, and there is, as you can you'll probably see as I move along a little bit. Zoom out a little bit to make it easier. You can see I'm still fair distance away, but there is, they started partitioning parts of it off, so it's not just a continuous. It doesn't look like this section will have any lettering in as to how far down the stones have gone, so possibly this section here could have, if they're still doing the Everton in here, the N, the O as they go along, but they are starting to come along fairly quickly with some of it. Right, so move back a bit and get back up, so I'm right out of the way of the stadium. I am on 3x zoom here, so it looks like we're closer than we actually are. Take it back up again, above stadium height. So no scaffolding work has started along here yet. Expect that to happen in the next week or two. And then obviously we've got this area now where the Lavango Road compound was. They're starting to break it up. As you can see here, the concrete bed. So I don't know whether that's going to be restored back as tarmac again, or whether it's quite easy just to lift that off and the tarmac's still under there and be done with. Look along the plaza. One of the advantages of coming quite early on a Sunday, you can get quite low shots, where when people are working, it's not great to be quite low down. But when there's nobody on site, you're able to get a little bit closer. Still, obviously, bits to do inside there. Doesn't look much there. All here, when you come of an evening here, there's all televisions on and stuff. So we'll leave that here and we will finish off, and that's it for today. Please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.